The night air was cold enough to sting his lungs. Headlights sliced through the fog as Theo Johnson's old pickup crept down West 25th Street. He shouldn't have been there. He knew that. Following someone felt wrong, like crossing a line you couldn't uncross, and yet he couldn't bring himself to turn around. Up ahead, a woman in a wheelchair moved steadily along the cracked sidewalk, her silhouette framed by the glow of passing streetlights. Vanessa. The woman who came to his diner every Tuesday for leftovers. The woman who'd vanished for 3 weeks without a word. He told himself he was only making sure she got home safe. But deep down it was more than that. Something about her had always pulled at him. That quiet dignity behind the exhaustion. The faint smile that somehow survived beneath the weight she carried. Vanessa had lost her legs in a car crash 3 years earlier. A drunk driver. The same stretch of highway where Theo's wife, Laura, had died. He hadn't known that connection at first. But when she mentioned the accident, he'd felt something inside him stop. They were both survivors of the same road. 2 people living among ghosts. Now, as she turned down a narrow side street, his pulse quickened. The buildings here were empty, windows boarded, graffiti fading into rot. It wasn't the kind of place anyone should be at night. Theo parked, killed the engine, and sat for a long moment. His reflection in the windshield stared back at him, tired and uncertain. He grabbed his coat and stepped out. His boots echoed softly as he followed from a distance, watching her disappear into an alley lit by a single flickering lamp. She stopped beside an old warehouse and knocked twice on a steel door. 2 sharp knocks. Then silence. Theo waited. The door opened just enough for her to slip inside, then slammed shut. He stood frozen. Every instinct told him to walk away, but worry anchored him there. What was she doing in a place like this? Was she safe? 5 minutes passed, then 10. Nothing. Theo exhaled, ran a hand through his hair, and approached the door. The handle turned easily. Unlocked. Inside, the air smelled faintly of antiseptic and something else. Humanity. He blinked, letting his eyes adjust to the dim light of scattered lanterns. And then, he saw them. Rows of makeshift beds lined the walls, mattresses on wooden pallets, each with clean sheets and real pillows. Shelves built from cinder blocks held medical supplies, bandages, gauze, bottles of medicine labeled carefully in neat handwriting, and people. So many people. Men and women in threadbare clothes, some sleeping, some sitting up, others quietly talking. Their faces carried the weight of hard lives, but their eyes held something Theo hadn't seen in a long time. Hope. And in the middle of it all was Vanessa, still in her wheelchair, but transformed. A stethoscope hung around her neck. She was examining an elderly man, her movements calm and practiced. "Take a deep breath," she said gently. "Good. Now exhale." Her tone carried authority, warmth, and care. The kind that only comes from someone who knows how to heal more than wounds. Theo stood there, rooted in disbelief. This woman, who came to his diner asking for leftovers, was running a secret clinic for the homeless. A man noticed him near the door and stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" he demanded. Before Theo could speak, Vanessa looked up and froze. Color drained from her face. "Theo?" she whispered. "Oh my God!" He walked closer, voice trembling. "How long have you been doing this?" She looked away. 8 months, maybe 9. 9 months? His voice cracked. "You've been helping all these people while asking me for food?" Vanessa nodded, shame flickering across her features. "The food wasn't just for me," she said quietly. "Every Tuesday, we share it here. Your leftovers. They've been feeding everyone." Theo looked around again. The beds, the order, the lives being tended to, and felt something in his chest shift. She wheeled herself toward him, her voice low but steady. "After the accident, no hospital would hire me. They called it liability, said it wasn't discrimination, but it was. So I started volunteering at shelters, trying to help any way I could. That's where I met Thomas, a veteran with an infected leg. He was dying because no one would treat him without insurance. So I did. I bought antibiotics with what little I had left. He survived. And word spread. Her voice grew stronger as she continued. They started coming here. People with infections, diabetes, asthma, problems no one else would touch. I couldn't turn them away." Theo's throat tightened. "You've been spending your disability checks on this?" She nodded. "It's all I have to give." He looked at her, really looked. Her eyes were tired but fierce. "You're giving everything," he said softly. Her lips trembled. "It's the only thing that makes me feel alive. After the crash, I stopped recognizing myself. I lost everything. My fiancé, my job, my independence. But here, these people need me. They see me, and I see them. Theo dropped to one knee beside her chair, his voice breaking. You haven't lost who you are, Vanessa. You just found a different way to be her. For a long moment, neither spoke. The hum of whispered voices filled the space like a quiet heartbeat. Then, Theo stood and exhaled. All right, he said. Here's what's going to happen. You're not doing this alone anymore. Before she could protest, he pulled out his phone. I'm calling for help. If this story touches your heart, please share it with someone. You never know who might need a reminder that kindness still exists. Over the next few hours, the warehouse came alive with possibility. Theo called Rachel, his late wife's sister, a lawyer. When she arrived and saw what Vanessa had built, she immediately got to work. We can make this official, she said. A registered clinic. Legal, safe, permanent. Then Theo called Marcus, a friend who ran a small nonprofit feeding low-income families. Marcus took one look at the setup and said, "This could change lives. I'll help you get funding." Finally, Theo reached out to Dr. Raymond, a local physician who'd been a regular at the diner for years. The doctor was skeptical at first, until he saw the care Vanessa was giving. Then he nodded, eyes wide. "You're doing everything right," he said. "Let's make this bigger." By midnight, plans were in motion. Lawyers, doctors, volunteers, all inspired by one woman's quiet courage. Vanessa sat in the corner, dazed by the whirlwind. "I didn't think anyone would care," she whispered. Theo smiled, setting a cup of coffee beside her. "You were wrong about that. What you're doing here matters more than you know." She looked up at him, eyes glistening. "Thank you for following me tonight," she said softly. He chuckled. "You make it sound like I had a choice." 2 weeks later, the Vanessa Free Clinic was officially born. The warehouse was transformed. Real hospital beds, clean lighting, working electricity, a steady stream of food from Theo's diner. Volunteers came daily. Doctors offered shifts. A pharmacy chain donated supplies. The city started to notice. What had begun as one woman's desperate act of compassion became a movement. And in the middle of it all, Vanessa began to heal too. Her cheeks filled with color. Her hands stopped shaking. The light in her eyes, that quiet, fierce determination, returned. Theo visited often, sometimes under the excuse of bringing food, but really, he just wanted to see her. He admired her strength, her fire, the way she talked to every patient as if they were family, the way she never let her wheelchair define her. 3 months later, after another long clinic dinner, they sat outside on the loading dock beneath a violet Cleveland sky. Steam rose from their coffee cups. "You know," she said, smiling faintly, "when I lost my legs, I thought that was it, that my story was over." Theo turned toward her. "And now?" She exhaled slowly. "Now I think it was just a new chapter. I used to think healing meant getting back what I lost. But maybe healing just means finding purpose again." He nodded. "You did more than that, Vanessa. You found meaning, and you gave it to everyone around you." Her voice softened. "You helped me remember who I was, Theo. You gave me food when I couldn't ask for help. You saw me when no one else did. And when you followed me that night, you gave me back my courage." Tears filled her eyes. "And somewhere along the way I fell in love with you." Theo's breath caught. He reached for her hand. "Good," he whispered, smiling through the emotion. "Because I fell in love with you too." The words hung in the air between them, fragile, real, and perfect. He leaned closer. "You're not broken, Vanessa. You're the strongest person I know." "Even the parts that don't work?" she asked softly. He smiled. "Especially those parts. They led you here. They led you to me." Their lips met in a quiet, steady kiss, the kind that doesn't promise forever, but builds it. A year passed. Vanessa moved into the small apartment above Theo's diner with him and Trevor. It wasn't fancy, just warm, alive, and filled with laughter. The Vanessa Free Clinic treated over 500 people in its first year. It expanded into mental health, dental care, job placement. The city called her a hero. She never liked that word. She said the real heroes were the people who refused to give up. Every Tuesday evening, after dinner service ended and the clinic quieted down, Theo and Vanessa would sit outside with Trevor between them, watching the sky shift from gold to indigo. "Do you ever think about how we found each other?" she'd ask. "All the time," he'd reply. "I followed you because I was worried. I had no idea I was following my future." She'd smile and rest her head on his shoulder. "I asked for leftovers, and somehow I found love." Theo would laugh softly, squeezing her hand. "Guess life has funny ways of reminding us what really matters." And as the stars appeared over Cleveland, above the diner, above the clinic, above everything they'd rebuilt from loss, Two people who had once been broken sat side by side, healed by purpose, bound by love, because sometimes the smallest acts of kindness lead you exactly where you were meant to go. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And more importantly, carry its message with you. See the people the world overlooks. Because sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones no one notices, until you do.